Here are the topics we are going to go over in this lesson. The basics of scheduling conferencing rooms, viewing conference room availability using shared calendars, and also we'll talk about using the scheduling assistant. And then at the end, I have some more meeting room resources for you. All right, so let's go ahead and get down to basics. First of all, we're going to schedule a meeting. And in order to do so, open your Outlook and go to your calendar view. And one of the most important things to do to start off is to make sure you're on your own calendar. Notice I have 3 different calendars that are up and they're overlapping. I want to make sure I start on my calendar, so I'm going to go ahead and click there just to make sure. And here I am on my calendar. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just double click. Let's say I want to schedule something around 11 o'clock on Wednesday. I'll double click there and open up an untitled appointment. Now at this point, I'm going to start using the scheduling assistant. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. Scheduling assistant is really handy in finding the availability of rooms, finding the availability of people that you are going to invite into your meeting. Here it's in a kind of a grid format with time going this way, and then you can have a list of your people and also your room on this column here. Now we're going to go ahead and add a room. Now to do so, we're just going to click the Add Rooms button. And now these are all the rooms that are in the system at this time. In order to narrow it down to our campus, we're just going to type in the search box S&T, and here's all the S&T rooms. Now we're going to go ahead and find a conference room. I'm going to go ahead and book General Services 101. I'll just select it by clicking on it and then click on the Rooms button here. You'll see it's added, and then click OK. Now you notice on this side, the room has actually being added as an attendee. Now at this time you can see that all the meetings that are scheduled are appearing on this line. So it looks like if I schedule my meeting from 11 to 12, this meeting ends at 11, so I will be fine. I'm going to go ahead and book this meeting by just clicking the send. Sure, we'll send it anyway. And in just a few seconds, we should be getting an email from the room saying, "We've booked you." There it is. Now I want to demonstrate what happens if you book on top of another meeting. So I'm going to go ahead here. Again, just open this up. And I'm going to go back to the scheduling assistant. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and move my meeting right on top of this one. Now as you can see, there's a capital project meeting going on from 10 to 11, but I'm going to try to book my meeting on top of that. So now that I have it set up that way, I'm going to go ahead and click send. And let's send anyway here. So I've moved my meeting, but the room, knowing that it's already booked, should be declining. There it is, declined. So let's go ahead and open this meeting back up again. Go back to that scheduling assistant, and I'm going to go ahead and readjust my time on my meeting. I'm going to put it back from 11 to 12. I know that that's free. Now once I know I have a meeting room and it's free, I could have done this before or after, but I can actually start adding attendees. You can do it a couple different ways. You can just click here and start typing a name in, or you can go down to add attendees, and here you get your address book and you can search for the people that you want. And you can also choose whether they're required or optional. Notice that the room, even though it's on the attendee column, it's showing up as a resource, which is what it should be doing. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of here. And I'm going to go ahead and send this again. Sure, we'll send it again. There it is. It's accepted again. So those are the basics of scheduling a conference room in Outlook. This lesson we're going to talk about viewing room availability and also using shared calendars. Now I want to introduce shared calendars to you. On our campus we have designated some rooms that are available for everyone to book. We can see that here. I'm going to go to the left hand side. Do you see this little bar here that has a calendar? I'll go ahead and click that little arrow there to expand it. Now you'll see on the left hand side, probably very much like you have in Outlook, is you have some calendars that you can turn on and off and make appear on your calendar view. So here I have a couple calendars that are open right now, check marks, turning them on and turning them off, just like that. You can also have calendars for rooms and have them appear here also. So let me just show you here. I'm going to go over here. Do you see these different categories of calendars that I have? Kind of shortcuts, I guess, if you would want to call them that. I'm going to right click on the one that says Rooms here, and I'm going to go to Add a Calendar, and then I'm going to go from the room list. Now, here again, like we saw in last lesson, are all the calendars for the entire system, and we're going to pare it down. But instead of just typing S and T, I'm going to type S&T space shared, and you'll see that it brings the highlight to the beginning of the shared meeting rooms. So these meeting rooms are available to everyone to be able to book meetings into. Now, let's say I'm going to book a meeting and I wanted to use McNutt, but I'm not sure which conference room will be available. So I can do a couple different things here. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and just, you can either do these individually if you want, or you can do control click, or you can do shift click, any of those. But I'm going to go ahead and grab all three of these McNutt Hall shared conference rooms, and I'm going to put them in this rooms dialog here by clicking rooms. I'm going to click OK now, and you'll notice on the left hand side now I have those three rooms, and they're also selected at this time. Now you'll notice that the view changed. This view is a grid that shows you the day and then the time going vertically, and then it shows you the availability or the booked meetings in all these calendar items. So you'll notice at this point, if you want to use this, it's okay if it makes sense to you. This is August 30th, and you can see here this is about 2:30 here, and if I were to scroll down I would see, well, this conference room is being used right now by something. I don't know what it is. This conference room is available because there's nothing booked in here. And then down below, this one looks like I see this bar here going across. It's probably booked for days. Actually, it says to September 7th, so that's a long time, and that's okay. But we know that that one's not available, so we could turn it off if we wanted, or leave it on. Now, in order to change this view back to something that's maybe a little more familiar, you just go to View, and then choose Day, Work Week, Week, Month. I usually do week because I want to see my weekends on there. And as I choose that, you'll notice now all these calendars are separate, the way to get them to overlap so that they make a little more sense is to click this little arrow, and that brings the calendar over. So I have to click it on each one of these guys. And now I have all the calendars overlaying. Now I'm going to get rid of a couple of these calendars that don't apply for me right at this point. So I'm still trying to book a meeting in McNutt. So I'm going to go ahead at this time and take a look. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and scroll over to the next week. Maybe it's a couple weeks out. Here we go. I'm over here. And now I'm looking and I'm saying, well, this one is pretty much booked for the whole, you can see it's booked for the whole week. So maybe I'm not going to use that one. Let me just turn that one off at this time. And so let's see, here's a place I can book either of these two conference rooms at this time. Now, remember from the first lesson, you want to make sure that if you're going to book a meeting, first make sure you're on your own personal calendar. Now, the reason for that is these calendars use email as their way of booking rooms also. But if you were to book a room in the room's calendar and not in your own, if it takes away the features that are available for the meeting, such as declining or accepting. Those emails go to the room and not to you. Also, if somebody were to suggest another time, well, that email would go to the room and not to you. So the room can't read email. So it's best to use your calendar and then add the room as a resource. So here I am. I've clicked on my calendar. And at 1 o'clock on Wednesday the 19th, I'm going to go ahead and double click there. And here we are again with the usual appointment dialog box. And again, we can go to the scheduling assistant like we did in the first lesson. And now we can go ahead and add those rooms. So I'm going to go here and click Add Rooms. Whoops. S and T shared. And here are our shared rooms. And I don't remember which one was booked all day, but I'm just going to go ahead and choose all three of them right now. And just put them in here. Click OK. And now I can see, okay, here's the one that was booked all day. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that one. I don't need that one. And if I uncheck it, it won't be included in the invite. And then let's see, I want to book this time. And you can see there's my meeting. And again, we're ignoring this one here. This one looks like it has some kind of a meeting in it, but let's see, I'm going to go ahead and choose McNutt Hall 305. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that one. And now I'm ready. So I can go ahead at this point is book the room and invite later, or you can actually start adding attendees by using the Add Attendee button. Right at this point, I'm not going to do that, but I think it's relatively easy. It's basically the same thing. You look at your address book, you pick who you want to come to your meeting. Or you can click here to add name and actually start typing it in. So I have these unchecked, so they won't be included. This one's checked, it's included. I'm going to go ahead and click send. And you'll notice here's my meeting on my calendar because I'm the host, the organizer. It even says it there. And look, McNutt has 305 has accepted it because it's available. So now you'll see it showing up in McNutt 305's calendar also. That lets you know that you started it on your calendar, which is a good thing. And then also you've got a response back. Now, just like the first lesson, if you get a decline, it's because you've booked over somebody else's meeting. Just as simple as that. So making sure that you have an open slot by using all the features that we've talked about so far will help you out. So now my meeting is booked. I can go back in and add more people, or whatever else I need. Add information, maybe an agenda, add attachments, etc. You can continue to do that as the day approaches. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about these shared rooms down here now that I have them. Let's say I use these rooms. Maybe I'm in McNutt or I'm very close to McNutt. So I can leave these on my shared rooms or calendar list here and just leave them there kind of as shortcuts. So now whenever I need to book a conference, I have these available. I don't have to go to the address book and look for the meeting room, etc., etc. So that is viewing room availability and also using shared calendars. Thank you. I'd just like to point you to designconstruction.mst.edu. Here on the right-hand side of the front page are services for campus departments. The top link is shared meeting rooms. If you click there, there's a lot of information on shared meeting rooms, contact information, information about kiosks, the meeting room list, and many other things, including this video.